What's up, YouTube? Special episode today from your boy, the Ticket Leprechaun. I've got a Bible verse to share with you guys. I'm going to share my autographed baseball collection, Bobblehead collection, and my future man cave room. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually getting married in May, on May the 5th. And we already have the house that we'll be staying in after we get married, and I've already started moving some stuff over here from my place, so I don't have to do it all right before our Grizzlies season. Alright, so let's do the Bible verse first. And it comes from Joshua 24:15, and it says, "And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." And that's something that I'm taking forward into, as I begin our life together with my wife and myself. We are both Christians, and we will serve the Lord for me and my house. So without further ado, let me get the camera turned around, and I'll show you guys the future of my man cave. We'll start over here with some baseballs up top. On top of this cabinet. And I've got all my Hall of Famer baseballs together for right now. That's Enos Country Slaughter. There's Jim Rice. I'll try and get that glare out of the way for you guys. There's a Cal Ripken Jr. Also a 3000 Hit Club member. Cool. We'll do row by row here, and all these are certified. This is a Warren Spahn, who's a 300 game winner and a 1957 World Series Braves champ. Tom Seaver. Again, all these guys are going to be Hall of Famers until I tell you otherwise, but 300 wins and 3,000 Ks, you can see there. Prince Hal Newhouser. Red Schoendienst, who was more famous for playing for the Cardinals, but he was on the 57 World Series Braves team, and that one's inscribed 57 Braves. Love that. So cool, since that's really the reason I wanted the ball. Since he's not too expensive, I may add another one later that just says Schoendienst to kind of represent his Cardinal playing days as well. There's a Frank Thomas, Big Hurt, 500 home run club member. Pretty iconic looking autograph. The Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. Definitely a unique autograph. You're a baseball autograph collector when that says Willie Mays, because otherwise it wouldn't say anything to you. Larry Doby. I know Snoop will appreciate that one. I believe he spent some time in the Negro Leagues. Bob Feller, the heater from Van Meter. Because he was such a nice guy and signed so much, I actually think he's one of the most undervalued Hall of Famers, just because so much of his stuff is out there. Because, like I said, he'd sign for anybody. Happy to sign. Good guy. Next up, Stan the Man Musial. All-time great. Love Stan the Man. 3000 Hit Club member too. Fun fact about him is he had exactly the same amount of hits on the road that he did at home. Pretty crazy. Duke Snyder, the Duke of Flatbush. Gaylord Perry, which I really need another one of his. That's a pretty weak autograph, but he's cheap, so I'll end up replacing that one someday. Nolan Ryan, 300 wins, the strikeout king, of course, plus over 3,000. Actually has 5,000 plus, only one to do that. I'm sure a baseball collector will like that one. Eddie Matthews, 57 World Series Braves champ, also 500 home run club member. Hall of Famer. Hank Aaron, part of that 57 Braves team. The team was loaded. 3,000 hits and 500 homers, of course, too. George Kell with the Hall of Fame inscription, 83. Andre Dawson, the Hawk. One of my favorites in my whole collection, Harmon Killebrew. I know I've mentioned it before, but one of my Pa's two favorite players on the Brewers side. He passed away when I was 7 and found out that was one of his favorite players after he had passed, and I kind of got into collecting, so I love Harmon Killebrew. Early win, 300 game winner. Phil Niekro, another Braves Hall of Famer, the knuckleballer. 300 wins and 3,000 strikeout club. Inscribed Hall of Fame 97. I don't typically go for this inscriptions per se, specifically. It's just kind of a nice bonus to me. I don't particularly care about that. I do like the 57 Braves, though. Fergie Jenkins, Hall of Fame 91, 3,000 K Club member. Mickey Mantle. Gotta love the Mick. It's probably my most valuable baseball I've got. Roberto Alomar, Hall of Famer. Goose Gossage, also known as Rich Gossage. And the Kid, Ken Griffey Jr., another one of my all-time favorites. Next, I'm going to show you guys some of my bobbleheads just because it's in this same case. And then I'll show you some other baseballs I've got located on another shelf in the room. I'll step back and kind of show you guys what this case looks like. Pretty cool. Got it from my fiance's grandfather. It's pretty awesome, as you can see. And these actually fold up, which is really cool. So that's without the glass. So we'll go through some of these bobbleheads real quick. There's the Chipper Freddy on a four-wheeler from Chipper famously rescuing Freddy a few years back in a snowstorm. Skip and Pete. This one actually, it plays.
The line and the pitch, here it is. Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yeah. The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship. Listen to this crowd.
Very cool. There's an Ender Inciarte in the back. The Sid Bream Slide. Pretty cool bobblehead. That one's my favorite. The Chief Nakahoma, which is a vintage bobble from, I believe, the 60s. Love that one. Got Freeman Hugs back there. I believe that was Johnny Gomes. Man, I wish that would have been Chipper. That would have been the sweetest bobblehead. Gary Sheffield from his time with the Braves. Dale Murphy. And Hank Aaron. So got all my non-World Series winning Braves up there except for Chipper. It's part of the ATV back there. Moving on. So we've got some baseballs and some bobbleheads on this row. First, some bobbleheads. We got Chipper back there. Bobby Cox, Javi Lopez, Mini Chipper. Got some baseballs. A little focus, there we go. Mark Lemke, Bobby Cox, number 6, the manager, Ryan Klesko, David Justice, inscribed 95 World Series champs, which I love, so cool, Jeff Blauser, Fred McGriff, the crime dog, Marquise Grissom, inscribed 95 World Series champs. That ball's actually also inscribed 4-time All-Star. Chipper Jones, my favorite player of all time, Javi Lopez, John Smoltz, also a 3,000 K Club member, Steve Avery, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux. With a Tommy Glavine bobblehead, a Greg Maddux, and another Bobby Cox. Speeding this up a little bit, guys, just to keep it a little shorter video because I got a whole nother couple shelves to go. From left to right, we've got Cal Ripken Jr., Brooks Robinson, Mike Piazza, Jeff Bagwell, The Babe, Ty Cobb, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, and really weird bobbleheads of Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson, showing them hitting instead of pitching. So definitely need some more of those. And on the bottom shelf here are Bobbleheads. Now that back row, you probably can't see them in the very back. It's dark in there. But you've got a Michael Jordan in Birmingham Barons and a Michael Jordan in Bulls. Then you've got Nomar, Roger Clemens, who's hiding there? Manny Ramirez, Barry Bonds, another Big Sammy in the back. You've got Mark McGuire, Hugo, Russell Wilson in Grizzlies uniform. You've got Chisel, who is our mascot, the bear, sticking out right there. You've got Roy Halladay, 2 Abraham Lincolns, Jordan Zimmerman. These 2 little bobbleheads I inherited from my nanny when she passed away. They were in her house. They're pretty old, pretty cool. Corey Seager, another Clemens. There's Russell Wilson, if you can see him. Got Squints up front, my boy. Madison Bumgarner, A-Rod, Clayton Kershaw, Pujols, Ichiro, Jeter, another Pujols. So quite a few bobbleheads there. That completes them. As you can see over to the right, they're all my vintage binders. I'm going to get them put up in some other bookcases when I get those moved over here. And there's where all my autograph cards are right now in those boxes. Over on this shelf, as you can see, it is packed. Got an old glove and some Braves mugs, some Abraham Lincoln stuff, my boy. Some little figurines. We've got Reggie Jackson, Ricky Henderson, Tony Gwynn, Murphy signed mini bobblehead, Gary Carter, Bobby Richardson, Go Heels, my high school, Lincoln, Tar Heels. I mean, you got a lot going on here. Some old Grizzlies season tickets. But let's move on to the baseballs before I run out of time here. So these are non-Hall of Famers, but I have them for various reasons. There's Roger Clemens, 300 wins, 3,000 K Club. A 1963 Gastonia Pirates team signed ball that was given to me by a season ticket holder with the Grizzlies. Pretty cool. I actually was able to look this team up on baseballreference.com and identify all the autographs. Pretty sweet. Nobody really famous, but pretty cool. And he also, same season ticket holder, gave me this ball, signed by Danny Murtaugh and Ray Scarborough, guys that played in the 50s for various teams, some for the Pirates and Senators, I think, for Scarborough. But very cool. Another ball he gave me, some local guys near Gastonia. Max Patkin, the Clown Prince of Baseball, and it is actually inscribed on the side, Clown Prince of Baseball. Very cool ball, so I picked that up. Here we go. You'll see this as a theme. The Sandlot. That's signed by Brandon Quinton Adams, a.k.a. Kenny DeNunez. That's my favorite movie of all time. I've actually got a script, the second to last script from the movie that I have, from the real movie, authenticated. And I collect Sandlot stuff, so I'm sure y'all will see more on that. There's an Andy Pafko. He was on the 57 World Series Braves. One of my favorite baseballs, signed by Warren Spahn and Johnny Sane. It's signed Spahn and Sane there. Pray for rain. That's Sane inscribed there, so that's pretty sweet. Going back the other way, there's Squints, Chauncey Leopardi, who actually follows me on Twitter and signed a baseball for me. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I'll just leave it at that. Mike Fox, the current baseball coach at UNC, big Tar Heel fan. Perfect Game Pitchers, another one of my PCs. There's Don Larson. Kurt Schilling, 3,000 strikeouts, should be a Hall of Famer. Hopefully he will be someday. Not this year, though. Gary Sheffield, 500 home runs. David Wells, another perfect game pitcher. Kenny Rogers, not the singer, the pitcher. He threw a perfect game. A Larry Fedora signed baseball, who's the head coach of UNC's football team. He also inscribed it Go Heels for me. Very, very cool. Very nice of him. Juan Pierre, 600 Stolen Base Club. That's Shane Obedzinski, who is Tommy Repeat Timmons in the Sandlot. Wes Covington of the 57 World Series Braves. Billy Bruton, 57 World Series Braves. 57 World Series Braves, Johnny Logan. There is a 57 World Series Braves, Frank Torrey. Sorry guys, got to move some action figures to see them. 57 World Series Champs, Del Crandall. Bob Boole, 57 World Series Braves. Timmy Timmons, which is Victor DiMaggio from the Sandlot. Dwight Gooden, who I met in person at the National. Phil Ford, UNC basketball great, who also inscribed the ball for me. Go Heels. Mike Witt, inscribed with his perfect game. Dennis Martinez's perfect game, right there. Mark McGuire, 500 home runs. Rafael Palmeiro. Tom Browning, perfect game. Len Barker, perfect game. Head coach Roy Williams, 3-time national champ. UNC basketball coach. Andrew Jones, great Brave, should be Hall of Famer in my opinion. Marty York, which is Yaya from the Sandlot. Gene Conley from the 57 World Series Braves. Lou Burdett, World Series Braves. And Ray Crone, World Series Braves. Alright guys, and there's some of the action figures I knocked over trying to move so you guys can see those baseballs. Hope I can fit that all in. Until next time, when I can show you guys an update of the room and some of my other stuff. Alright, keep collecting.